Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and yes, it's time for the next video in the 90s series. So this is basically gonna be my top 10 favorite horror movies from the year 1995. And keep in mind, like with all of these videos, this is just my personal opinion. So if there's any of these movies from this specific era which I think I've missed out on, please let me know in the comment section if there's any other like 995 horror movie that I really need to watch. So, but anyway, this is just my personal opinion. So let's start right away. So number 10, we have a movie which I unfortunately don't have in the collection. I watched it on online. I think it was on YouTube, because this is one of those films that still doesn't have a DVD or Blu-ray release, and something tells me that the official VHS release is probably really difficult to come across. But it's the movie called The Granny, not to be confused with the movie called Granny that came out in like late 90s. This one is directed by the same guy who directed Ghoulies, I believe, the first Ghoulies film, which isn't a very good film in general. But The Granny is a very entertaining film. It's basically about this granny that she's kind of sick. She has like some sort of like disease, and her relatives basically are only there to try to get her to sign like papers so they can sort of like inherit lots of her money, basically, or like her estate. So they're really in it for the money and don't really care too much about her health or like her lost time in life and whatnot. But then this mysterious man comes along, and he pretty much tells her that she can be immortal or something like that by drinking a specific type of drink or something. I'm not really sure exactly what it was, because it was a while since I watched this film. But then obviously she does pass away. But she comes back from the dead, and she's really after all these people that were just after her money in general. So it's sort of like a weird revenge tale as well, but it's really played for laughs, and it's more. I mean, this is definitely more of a horror comedy than a straightforward horror film. So if you like those type of things in general, this is probably a film for you. So, but anyway, yeah, The Granny at number 10, really underrated. I really wish some company could release this on DVD or Blu-ray, because it really needs that, and I think lots of people would enjoy this movie in general. So yeah, The Granny. And then at number 9, let's see here, we have the Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers right here, which I think is very underrated in general. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's much weaker than some of the other ones. I mean, I think part 1 and part 4 and part 5, I would say, it's probably better than this, and also part 2. But I mean, I've never been a big fan of part 3 in general. Not necessarily because Michael Myers isn't in that film. It's more so I never really got into the storyline. I really need to rewatch the third one, in all honesty. This movie is just really a weird mess in general. It just felt like they didn't really know what to do with the entire franchise, and I think this is what they call like part of the Thorn trilogy. I think that's what they call like part 4, 5, and 6. Because obviously the Halloween film that came out for this one, which was Halloween H2O, has nothing to do with this one. They kind of ignore the whole Thorn-esque to that, and it's sort of like a sequel to the first one, I believe. So yeah, the storylines in this series, or like in this franchise, is really all over the place. This is the theatrical cut of the film, so I'm not really sure how the producer's cut is. I mean, I've heard some rumors that the producer's cut actually has more screen time with Donald Pleasence. And I mean, Donald Pleasence passed away during the making of this film, so this is one of the very last films he appeared in. But I don't think this was the very last credited one he appeared in. I think the last one he was credited on was the Italian horror movie called Fatal Frames, I believe. But I think that was probably shot before Halloween 6, obviously, because this was died during production. So, but anyway, I mean, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, I think I do like this one just because of how weird and strange it is. So yeah, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I think it is. Yeah, The Curse of Michael Myers. And then at number 8, we have another sequel right here. I mean, I think there's lots of sequels right here as well. But we have Leprechaun 3 in Las Vegas. And I think what I really like about this film, I mean, obviously I can't really say too much about this one if you haven't seen the first one or the second one. The first one is funny because it has Jennifer Aniston in it, and it's really goofy fun. Second one, I've never really been a big fan of in general. But I think Leprechaun 3 is really good because I really like the location where they put him in. Like, it totally makes sense for him to end up in Vegas in general, because the whole premise about the Leprechaun is if you steal his gold, he's basically going to come after you and really make living a living hell for you, basically. So it's just such a nice way to just put him in Las Vegas in general and all these casinos. So I think that's the reason why I really appreciate this sequel in general. And this is directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, who also directed Night of the Demons Part 2. And he also directed Turkey Shoot. I mean, he's Dead End Drive-In. He's made some really entertaining movies in general. But yeah, he also directed Leprechaun in Space, which wasn't very good. But Leprechaun 3, I mean, if you didn't like too much the second one very much, definitely check out the third one. It's way better in my personal opinion. And yeah, I really like the whole location. I think that's the reason why I really like that so much. So yeah, keep repeating myself over and over again. But yeah. Then at number 7, we have another sequel in a franchise, which I think, I mean, I have a soft spot for this franchise because I think these were one of the very first horror movies that I ever watched. At least the first one I remember. I remember I watched the first one on TV when it was not when it was new, because I wasn't around at that time, but I saw the first one on TV for the first time, and that really stuck with me. But anyway, let's not say anything else. At number 7, we have Children of the Corn 3 Urban Harvest. Is it Urban Harvest? Doesn't even say right here. Yeah, Urban Harvest, yeah. So this one is slightly different from the previous 2 movies, because this one does not take place in Gatlin or in Haddonfield, I believe it was called, the other one. Haddonfield? Yeah, the neighboring town of Gatlin, basically. But this one takes place in Chicago, I believe. Which I think is quite interesting that they change the location from time to time. That's really refreshing when it comes to like sequels, when they try to do something else or like put it like this premise into like another location in general. I really appreciate that. So this one is basically about these 2 boys that get adopted by a family in Chicago, and obviously they're from Gatlin, so yeah, you have the connection right there. But other than that, there's not too much like there's not very many other like references to the previous movies except for them being from Gatlin. So one of the brothers, he's really after like, and he's really like obsessed with He Who Walks Behind the Roses, like a really really evil kid. And the other one is sort of like really tries to adapt to the new life, and he is basically eventually the person that really needs to stop his brother, basically, because I don't think they're biological blood brothers, because I think they are like adopted in the first place. So I don't know what I'm talking about right now, but Children of the Corn 3 Urban Harvest, really entertaining film in general. I do not like the ending very much, because there's a really silly like creature effect towards the end, which I think is just absolutely ridiculous. But other than that, I think this is a really fun and entertaining film. So yeah, Children of the Corn 3 Urban Harvest. It's weird to say a horror movie is fun, but I mean, I've seen so many horror movies at this point, so I don't really watch horror movies for being to try to get scared. I basically watch horror movies just to enjoy them, basically, or look at the blood or gore effects or something like that. So yeah. And then number 6, some people would say, is this really a horror movie? It's sort of categorized as horror movie, and it's quite strange enough to be a horror movie, I would say. But we have the movie by Shinya Tsukamoto, who I would say is one of my favorite Japanese directors, along with probably Takashi Miike and Rie Kitamura. I always butcher his name, but Tokyo Fist right here. This is such a crazy and mad film, and I believe it's not very long either. It's 90 minutes long, so it's not. I mean, it's yeah, but it's just so crazy. There's so many things going on in this film, and it's never boring. Maybe more of an action-filled type of horror film, you could say. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a horror film. It's more like an action film with some horror elements thrown in there every now and then. So, but yeah, this is one of a kind. If you haven't seen this one, check it out. Yeah, Tokyo Fist by Shinya Tsukamoto. Sorry if I butchered his name, but yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. And I really hate the lighting right here. Wait a minute, I'm going to try to adjust that. So I tried to adjust that, but I mean, it didn't really make any sense either, or like it didn't work the way I wanted to. So let's just move on with the list then. So at number 5, we have the movie called The Prophecy with Christopher Walken and Viggo Mortensen, and I believe Eric Stoltz is also in this one, and Virginia Madsen and Elias Koteas. I can never pronounce his name. I have a friend of mine on YouTube who's actually quite similar. I mean, he looks almost identical to him. I think he's heard that lots of times, so he's probably sick of hearing it. Um, but The Prophecy is a very interesting film. I mean, I would say the storyline is a little bit muddled from time to time, and it's a fascinating film. I mean, it's not something that I would say is very unique, but the thing that I really like about this film is the performances and the characters and the acting in this film. Because obviously you have some really talented people involved in this project in general, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it really, because it still feels like a very strange and weird film. But yeah, watch this for the performances and for the actors and for the characters, I would say. So yeah, The Prophecy. I have seen the second one as well, and I didn't care too much about it. And I've yet to watch part 3, 4, and 5, so I'll get around to watch those eventually as well. So yeah. And at number 4, we have the movie. I mean, this is just actually like a Swedish release, so that's the reason why it has the Swedish title on the front cover. But it's the movie called Hideaway with Jeff Goldblum, and I believe this one also has what's her name, Alicia Silverstone. Yeah, well, she was in many of these like movies in the 90s, but this I would definitely say is more of a thriller film than a horror film, so you have to like be prepared for that. um so this is like, oh, I completely lost track now. But anyway, this is a film which I can definitely recommend to people who's probably more into like thriller films and maybe want to get more into horror films, because I think it's a really nice segue of getting into horror movies in general. Because this is a nice blend of horror and thriller. I would say obviously more of a thriller than a horror film, but still I could still categorize this as a horror film. So yeah, Hideaway. Don't know what else to say about it. I mean, some of these films are just really hard to describe, and I mean, sometimes my memory is not the greatest either, so that's the reason why uh, some of the info could be a little bit weird when I talk about these movies in general. So yeah. So I know we talked about Leprechaun 3 before, which ended up at number 8. Now, the director of the first Leprechaun film decided to make his own little film in 1995, and that movie is called Rumpelstiltskin, which is quite similar to Leprechaun in a way, because he has another one of those creatures that comes back from like ancient times, basically, you could say. And he's like on the hunt for, I believe, like a baby. He really wants this baby because this baby like has special powers to him and will make him immortal or something. There's something weird like that. But the actor who portrays Rumpelstiltskin did an amazing job, and I feel so sorry for him as well, because he had to like really walk in very weird ways. Like I mean, he's so like always like his back looks like he's really hurting his back, because like walking around like this through most of the film. And I would say it's more memorable, not more memorable, but more entertaining to watch than Leprechaun, especially if you compare it with some of the later Leprechaun movies. I mean, I still really like the first one and the third one, but other than that, I think this is a nice film that can go along with those movies in general. So if you do like the Leprechaun films and you haven't seen Rumpelstiltskin, please go watch this movie, because it's very entertaining. Lots of really funny quotes as well. I remember I watched this with one of my good friend Daniel quite a while ago, and we both really enjoyed this one. I think I liked it a little bit more than he did, but um, yeah, and I'm so glad I finally got a hold of this artisan DVD release of the movie, because this movie, I mean, I had to look for such a long time in order to get the hold of this movie. I think some company released it on like Blu-ray or something not too long ago. But I mean, I'm still fine. I'm fine with the DVD. I'm not gonna upgrade anything like that in that regard. But yeah, really entertaining movie nonetheless. So yeah, Rumpelstiltskin, definitely a film that no more people should watch. So if you can find it, that is. So I have no idea if you can watch it on streaming or anything like that. So yeah, you'll have to deal with that. And on number 2, we have Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, which is the first of two movies which was based on the Tales of the Crypt series, or like TV series. I've actually never seen the TV series before, so I feel a bit stupid when it comes to that. But I do have the TV series like in the shelf actually, so I'm gonna watch that TV series. I mean, damn, I can't speak anymore. But anyway, I'm gonna get around watching that TV series as well. Um, Demon Knight is an amazing film and really fun nonetheless. Has what's his name, Billy Zane in it. I think this is the very first time I actually saw him bald. But you also have what's his name, Hayden Church, Thomas Hayden Church in it. So there's some, and William Sadler's also in the film. So I have some really nice actors in this one, like really like great actors in general. I have watched the sequel as well. It's not as good as the first one, but still a very entertaining sequel nonetheless. I think that one has like Corey Feldman, I believe. Um, but yeah, I mean, I do really like the humor in this one. I do really like the gore. It tends to be for me that I really, really appreciate some of the horror comedies in general, especially from this era in general, because I feel some of the later like movies that really try to mix horror and comedy didn't really succeed as much as the ones from the 80s and 90s in general. So, yeah, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, number 2. And then let's see here at number 1 is surprisingly a Swedish film, and I would still say this is the best Swedish horror film to date. I know some people would probably say Let the Right One In or something like that, but this one is still number 1 for me at least. So, so at number 1 we have Evil Ed right here. I actually have this really old Scandinavian release of the film. I also have the Blu-ray released by Arrow, so I really need to get into that one as well because I haven't watched it on Blu-ray yet. Usually I never really do that when it comes to movies. I never really double dip on movies and like try to upgrade every single title because that would just be a waste of money. But in this case, I did do that because this is a very bare bones edition of the film. It's just basically the movie and nothing else. Scene selections, I believe. Sneak preview, cast biographies. There's not too much in terms of like extra features on here. But on the Arrow release, there was lots of special features, and I believe there's actually like a different cut of the film on that Blu-ray release as well. So this one has an really amazing blood and gore effects, really impressive stunts, especially when you consider the low budget for this film. And this entire film was just basically like a sort of like a satire, you could say, about the whole like video. You could say like the equivalent of the video Nazis that they had in the UK, sort of like a similar thing, but in Sweden instead. And these people were just like messing around and just basically said, well, let's make a movie about like just make a satire out of that. Like every single person that watch a horror film is going to get really weird and really demented and evil, like Ed over here on the front cover. Which obviously is not true at all. It's just like a weird satire spoof type of thing. It has a very like Evil Dead type of vibe to it. So if you do like that type of humor, you will definitely like this movie. Has lots of different like references to other horror movies as well, which I thought was really charming, really fun, and they don't really feel forced either, which they could have been in some of the modern things when they like trying to spoof or like trying to like reference other movies in general. So I think that's it. Really nice timing when it comes to the humor as well. But yeah, Evil Ed, I can watch this so many times. I have watched this movie so many times and I never get tired of it. So if you haven't seen this one, go check it out. It's a very funny and entertaining movie, and especially I will recommend this one if you do like the Evil Dead movies, because then you will love this one. So yeah, that's it for the top 10 of my top 10 favorite horror movies from the year 1995. I'm not really sure what the next video is going to be about. Maybe like an update video or maybe like another horror review video. We'll have to see eventually. But yeah, if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up. If I missed out on any movie that you really feel like this should have been included on your list, please let me know in the comment section. Have you seen any of these films? What do you think about them? Do you think they're trash? Do you think they're good? That could be really interesting to see, like to have like a conversation right there. And also, if you do like my videos in general and you wish to follow me on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel if you want to. So But anyway, hope you enjoyed this particular video, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.